The Red Cloak is a legend that goes by many names. Red Vest, Red Cape, Red Mantle, and so on. They all involve the spirit of a masked man who wears such a cape, haunting public restrooms, or, in some versions, primarily women's restrooms. He is said to be handsome or charming, thus wearing a mask to hide his face. If a person were to use the last stall in a bathroom that was haunted by the Red Cloak, he will ask if you want red paper or blue paper. According to who's telling the story, there are a number of outcomes to whatever you answer with. If you answer with red paper, you will either have your throat, head, or hands sliced off until you bleed to death, creating a sort of red cloak with your blood. If you answer with blue paper, you will be violently strangled until your face turns blue. If you're absolutely insane enough, you can answer with yellow paper and have your head forcefully shoved into the toilet you were using, but you will survive. If you don't answer at all, the spirit will simply depart, and asking for a different color or attempting to outsmart the spirit will result in you being dragged to the underworld, the realm of departed souls, sometimes referred to as Yomi.
The Kiyotaki Tunnel. This tunnel was built in 1927 and is supposedly haunted by the workers who died from working there. The workers were pretty much treated like slaves and built a tunnel under harsh conditions. The tunnel is exactly 444 meters long, 4 being an extremely unlucky number in Japan. People report that spirits of the workers can be seen in this tunnel at night. In some cases, they can be seen sitting in the passenger seats within the cars passing by. There's also a mirror inside the tunnel, and if you were to look inside it, you would see a ghost by your reflection, and supposedly, you would die very, very soon.
Kakuri-san. Similar to a Ouija board, Kakuri-san is one of the most famous games in Japan. Mostly played by school children, the game is played to summon spirits and ask them questions. The game, however, isn't as dangerous as the Ouija board, since the spirit summon, whom the game is named after, is a lot more calm and less dangerous. To play Kakuri-san, you need at least 2 people, a sheet of paper, a pen, and a coin. Take a blank sheet of paper and draw Tori, a traditional Japanese gate, at the top in red ink. Write yes and no on either side of the Tori. Beneath this, write 1 row of numbers from 0 to 9 and 3 rows of letters from A to Z. Open a window or a door so that Kakuri-san will be able to enter the room. Place a coin on the Tori. Each person places their index finger on the coin. Call the spirit by saying, Kakuri-san, Kakuri-san, if you're here, please move this coin. You can ask Kakuri-san whatever question you'd like. It will move the coin to spell out the answer. To end the game, you must ask Kakuri-san to leave by saying, Kakuri-san, Kakuri-san, please return home. The coin will move to yes, and then come to a rest on the red Tori. When you are certain Kakuri-san is left, you must destroy the paper. Either tear it to pieces or burn it. You must also spend the coin you used before the end of the next day. Although Kakuri-san is not as dangerous as the Ouija board, it still is not recommended that you play it. Many people can become upset and depressed if they receive answers they do not like. Also, always remember that Kakuri-san is a trickster spirit and can easily lie to you.
Tenomi. Also known as the Pale Man, Tenomi is the spirit of an old blind man who was brutally assaulted and killed one night by robbers. Before his death, He lashed out in anger, yelling about how he could have defended myself if only he could see. Because he didn't get to die in peace, his spirit has returned as a raffle spirit with eyes on the palms of his hands. Despite this, he is still relatively blind. He can only see by the openings in his palms, and he only can see further by pointing said palms towards his target. Now he roams through the cities and villages in search of the robbers that attacked him. Since he didn't see their faces in the first place, Janome will simply kill anyone who comes by his way.
The Slit-Mouth Woman. This urban legend warns about the dangers of walking alone at night, for they might encounter the Slit-Mouth Woman. She wears a surgical mask covering her mouth, which is a common sight in Japan, as people wear them to protect others from the spread of disease or bacteria. But this woman will stop wandering children and ask, "Am I beautiful?" If they responded with no, she kills them with a pair of scissors she always carries around. If instead they respond with yes, the woman removes her mask to reveal her mouth has been slit from ear to ear. She'll then ask, "How about now?" No matter what the response, the Slit-Mouth Woman will kill them. If they say no, they are cut in half. And if they say yes, she cuts their mouths to be exactly like hers. Thankfully, there are a few ways to escape. At this point, if you were to instead respond with, "You're average," "so-so," or even another question like, "Am I pretty?" she'll get confused, and you'll have the chance to run.
Cursed Kleenex commercial. In the 1980s, Kleenex released a Japanese commercial featuring a woman dressed in all white and a young child dressed as a Japanese ogre. Many viewers found the advertisement disturbing. Some complained that the song sounded like a German curse, despite the lyrics being in English. Because of this, several rumors began to circulate about the cast. According to the legend, the entire crew met their untimely death through accidents, and the lead actress, Kiko Matsuzaka, became pregnant with a demon child. Some believe that the commercial will change if viewed during midnight.
Kisaragi Station. In 2004, an anonymous post was made in the middle of a thread called "Posts About Strange Occurrences Around You," thread 26. The story goes that a man named Hasumi was on a train to work, but the train hasn't stopped at a station for the past 20 minutes. It usually stops every 5 minutes, and everyone on board is sleeping. This was odd, so he posted online for comfort. He finally arrived at an unheard location called the Kisaragi Station. The other users on the forum have never heard of this location, and neither has Asumi. It seemed completely abandoned, and there were no taxis at sight. He wandered for about 20 minutes and called his parents and the police. His parents couldn't find any information on the place, and the police thought this was some prank. Frightened, Hasumi ran back the way he came, through a tunnel to try and find something, and he eventually came across someone who called for a train and take Hasumi to the nearest location, a hotel in Hina. As the train went up the mountains, Hasumi's phone battery was dying, and his final post was made. He wasn't heard from again.